Hello and welcome again to the Monster Sci-Fi Show podcast. For today's episode, Mr. Gene and I are going to be talking about Kick-Ass 2!
Yay!
In a nutshell, did you think it was Kick-Ass 2 like I did?
I enjoyed it. I found it to be an adequate sequel, unlike some of the other things that we've seen this past summer.
Yeah. I went into this movie without really a high expectation, other than, based on what I saw in the first movie, it's going to have extreme violence, graphic at times, and Hit Girl's going to be cussing up a storm like last time, and I'll be fine with that. And actually, it was, as you put it, a kinder, gentler universe that we saw this time around. And it was okay. I was fine with it. For a sequel, it did what it's supposed to do, and not necessarily equal to the first one, but it was a good enough story that I was entertained throughout the whole film. I had very little problems with it.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with it either, really. I mean, after seeing based on the strength of Kick-Ass 1, and again, when Kick-Ass 1 came out, they weren't sure they're going to do a sequel. That's why it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
But then, after it made money on DVD sales,
right?
And then there was a Kick-Ass 2 comic book that came out, and they said, well, yeah, let's greenlight it, so it's fine. But 3 years later, Hit Girl Chloe Grace Moretz, thank you. Oh, a little older, a little bit more awkward. She's actually an adult kind of now, and watching her scenes were a little bit, okay?
Yeah, I felt weird watching the trailers, and not that I was overly attracted to her as Hit Girl in the first movie, but...
Not like Natalie Portman in The Professional, back so many years ago.
No, we're not going down that road. But it was just kind of weird, because she looked much older. She tried to look like the little girl she was in the first movie, but it wasn't the same. And even the foul mouth that she had in the first one, which was like, oh my god, I can't believe the amount of curse words that's coming out of her mouth. Mm-hmm. It's like watching South Park for the first time, and you're hearing these kids curse up a storm. In the second one, it's a little bit more restrained. I mean, she just has maybe one or two, I think, moments where she does, lash out verbally, but it's not the same Hit Girl that we've seen before, because she's going through this whole problem of growing up as a girl, normally in her age group, like any other girl, but she also has this other life that, it's kind of like...
Secret
identity life, that, she's struggling to kind of balance, and she has to not put away childish things like we have,
No, accept childhood things.
Yeah, but we have to, exactly, it's the opposite. We have to accept those.
Put away your assassin ways,
yeah.
your deviant potty mouth, and just live a normal life, even though you can kill a man with his own fingers.
Right.
Which, yeah.
If there was going to be ever, let's say, a down note for me, and me going back to the fact that I love soundtracks and I love movie scores, watching Kick-Ass, the first movie, there's a certain theme that I played at the beginning of this podcast, which is the Kick-Ass theme. When we finally see Kick-Ass become himself in that persona and the costume he wears, this music is playing in the background.
From the first movie.
From the first movie. And I was so gung-ho, so pumped, seeing the image, hearing the music. I was just so on board with Kick-Ass. Here in Kick-Ass 2, we don't have that same kind of fun soundtrack in the sense that, I don't know, it wasn't as fun as I felt like watching the first one.
Well, the first one was groundbreaking, and you're trying to follow a groundbreaking, potty mouth 13-year-old assassin girl who actually doesn't kill with guns but with swords.
Right.
You'd never seen that before, and Nicolas Cage doing the great Adam West kind of twist to it that you were like, that's kind of messed up but kind of hysterical.
Yeah.
And yet the movie it picks up the spirit.
It does.
From that.
It does.
And
really
holds
does.
it all the way through. A lot more masturbation jokes in this. It was kind of offsetting. You were like, what the... Alright, I'll let that go. It was kind of weird and embarrassing, like fucking an apple pie. But okay, go with it.
Fine. But overall, I just thought that there was I don't think there could have been a better story from what it told on the screen. I don't think you... Basically, if you didn't do the follow-up with Red Mist or now Motherfucker going after Kick-Ass, if that wasn't going to be resolved in this movie, then Kick-Ass was a failure. But that's not the case. They actually did that follow-up because Kick-Ass killed Red Mist.
Spoilers!
Sorry. I should have said spoilers first. Yeah, and let's make a difference. It's 3 years old. You should have seen this movie already.
Well, the first one, but you just gave away the end of the second one.
No. I'm talking about how Kick-Ass killed...
Right, the dad. I'm sorry, the dad. Part, yes.
Right, so his motivation is like, I'm going to get Kick-Ass in the second movie.
Eventually.
Yeah. So that was the whole thing. That was his whole motivation. And we have kind of like a lot of false starts because it's not as if Red Mist, now Motherfucker, if you have to watch the movie to get the reference, he goes by now, is out to kill Kick-Ass. It's kind of like he's delayed until certain things happen with his family, his right-hand man, before things get started for him. Even though he has all this money, it's delayed until the third act, so to speak, before he gets started.
Right, but I think that the story in itself, even though, because it's self-luxuriating in itself, but it's kind of fun to watch Mindy McCready go through her little high school woes, and to watch Dave Lubowski, whatever it is, dang it, fudge, gotta read these credits, watch his growth, he's because he's still staying with the superhero thing.
Right.
He wants to get Mindy back as Hit Girl to train because he misses the adrenaline high.
Right.
And he really wants to do some good. And it's interesting to me the way that you meet kind of mutations of real life kind of thing. Like, yeah, our son we never found, the police didn't help out, so now we just go out and just try to help people. Like, that's kind of cute.
It's the team. What's it called? Team Tommy.
Oh God.
The couple call themselves Team Tommy, so they basically are patrolling the streets in a weird pseudo superhero way, and for some reason I was just like, please don't let this go into Mystery Men and we see the spleen or I forgot the Ben Stiller's character who had the anger management.
I have no idea.
Oh my God. You've never seen it? Or
I've seen it.
Okay, it's been a while.
But I just can't remember it.
So, not that doesn't have its own campiness. The Tick does that on its own too, where you have heroes and villains that are not really heroes or villains, they're just misunderstood people, and they're idiots in costumes, basically. Here, we actually have legitimate people who want to do good in costumes.
Mr. Furious.
Mr. Furious, thank you. I forgot about that.
Thank you, IMDb.
Thank you, Internet. But it was kind of fun seeing that this was actually kind of being taken serious. I mean, Kick-Ass does it because he is invulnerable in some degrees, not to feel pain. But yet here are other people, everyday people, who are willing to put themselves in the risk and harm to protect others with their own bodies and so forth.
And that's really... It's done well at the end. There's a little touch to that about the whole superheroes and just normal everyday heroes.
Right, exactly.
And it's done well. I mean, the director for me was kind of sloppy a little bit because it wasn't clean. There was the effects in this movie are like, couldn't you spend a few more hundreds of thousands of dollars maybe to just make that green screen effect work a little bit better? Because you're kind of crapping out my suspension of disbelief. But okay, I'll just go with it.
My other thing that I wanted to bring up, one of my favorite young adult authors, his name is Barry Lyga, 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 yeah. He's written these two books. One is called The Astonishing Tales of Fanboy and Goth Girl, and the second book is Goth Girl Rising. It kind of reminded me of how Kick-Ass 1 was like The Astonishing Tales of Fanboy and Goth Girl. Well, the focus was, or the point of view from the whole story was from Kick-Ass point of view, just like Fanboy was in the first book. In the second book, Goth Girl Rising, we had the Goth Girl, I forgot her name. Oh my God. I'll get it eventually.
3 in the morning, you'll be like, God!
Exactly. Rats. But her point of view continued the story, so it's all her story, but you saw Fanboy throughout the story, but this was her story. Going back to Kick-Ass 2, I had a problem because is this a Kick-Ass 2 story for Kick-Ass, or is this a Hit Girl? And even though you said it was well balanced, I just think, what was the focus here?
Well, the question you're asking basically, and like I studied screenwriting, that's what I went to college for. Not like I've done much with it anyway, but the story is balanced. But the thing is, your major star in this movie is Hit Girl. It is.
Right.
It's told from Kick-Ass's point of view, but Kick-Ass isn't the most interesting person. Right. He's the common man on the street, but you need him to explain the story to you. Right. Basically, because he's the one you relate to the most.
Or have the linchpin for us to get into that world is through him.
Right.
But we don't even see him so much in the movie because he's dealing with other issues with this whole Justice Forever League. And then he's doing his own stuff. But we see more of Hit Girl in this movie than in the previous one. So to me, I just thought it was kind of like it lost focus. Whereas the first Kick-Ass, having him discover who he is with his own abilities, and like the theme song that I talked about, having that journey along with him, I did not feel that in the second one.
But this was about Mindy's story. It's about Hit Girl's, because Hit Girl is forbidden basically. At some point, she goes out and she's training, Kick-Ass, and she's not really going out really too much. She goes out once, I think, to help him train, and then she gets caught basically by Marcus, who we remember from the first movie.
Right, her now guardian.
Yes, played by
caregiver
Morris Chestnut. What a nice name. And she gets caught, so she can't do it anymore. But then the whole thing about be who you are, that thing comes back. That whole thing. You're not Hit Girl. You're this kid in high school.
Still.
Yeah. And she gets encouraged to do that, but things in the story exacerbate themselves. The washed pot that comes to a boil, and the unwashed pot comes to a boil. God, that's a messed up analogy. Anyway, and she has to go back to it, and that was okay though, But yeah, it's Hit Girl's story, but you can't do it without Kick-Ass.
Right. So I just thought that if you're going to do Kick-Ass 2, call it Kick-Ass 2, the Hit Girl story. Something like they let you know what's going on, because it wasn't as if I felt watching this is like the first one. This is not like watching Peter Parker discover his powers.
No, it's not the origin story anymore.
No, it's not the origin
We've
story.
got the origin story. This is the
but even then, it's like every time I would see him on the screen, I'm like, that's Peter Parker. That's who I want to be attached to to get through the story. And yet, there's Mindy coming through every so often, pushing my... I can't really get it rolled up into a 16-year-old girl.
You could, but you'd be arrested.
10 to 30 gets you life. What?
No, that's if you pull a gun. It's 10, no. 10,
no, 3 strikes, you're out?
I don't know.
So
anyway.
Strike out with a teenager? I don't know.
No, but we can't discuss Kick-Ass 2 without talking about Jim Carrey's role. And I was... His acting... He was unrecognizable to me.
I knew who he was.
I knew who he was, too, but he plays... He's bulked up.
Right.
He's not doing his normal voice. He's consistent.
He's not taking it out of his ass.
No.
He's not. He's not doing any of that. He's not.
But he was hysterical.
It was good.
A strong, fathering, supportive figure. Don't like you to curse.
Yeah, exactly.
But, amusing.
I don't mind my dog, biting you on the balls, but don't curse. That's not, he's a born-again Christian in the story, so I'm like, really?
It worked.
Okay.
It worked. So, do you think that he had a point with the whole, after the shootings, Sandy Hook and thing, and his position, and then seeing the film, what do you think about his opinion? I mean, does the film promote violence? It does by its very nature, but it more, I think, promotes the idea of protecting neighborhoods and somehow getting involved.
Yeah,
his character isn't quite violent. Violence just happens in the movie.
Right. I would think it would be kind of like an anti-violent film where you have people taking a stand, joining together to form a common good, as opposed to a blatant, like, let's say a couple of scenes from The Matrix where you're glorifying the violence with, the rapid gunfire, you're doing the martial arts, you're making it like
sexy,
an orgy on the screen with violence. Not once did I feel that at all in this movie. It was completely the opposite. But in all honesty, if Jim Carrey had that feeling to begin with, he should have done this movie in the first place. Saved a couple of $1 million for the filmmakers.
But I think that may be so. But I think the Sandy Hook thing happened after or during shooting, and he has less than 8 minutes of screen time. So, right. But I think his character is important because I think that if you just had the Kick-Ass movie alone, sure, you've got the brand, you've got the stars from the other movies, but you kind of need someone else, someone stronger, to bring people in. Maybe just a name. I don't know.
You know what? I wasn't.
It may be irrelevant, but I don't know.
I think the character was needed. I don't think the actor was needed for that role. You didn't need to bring Jim Carrey.
You needed something though. Anyone else, but someone else bigger? No,
not even bigger.
You think that the franchise is getting on?
For the most part, it stood on its own from the first point. You know, there are some characters that I know, like Yancy Butler, who was the mother for Red Mist, which I know her from a TV show called Man and Machine years ago, as well as Witchblade. So I'm okay with lesser known actors that, from a casting point of view, I would have brought them in. But Jim Carrey just, not that he takes over the movie, he doesn't do that. No, but it was just like you needed, like you said.
It's a crutch. It's a crutch. He's a crutch. But it could have been anyone. It's true.
Yeah.
But the thing is, for me, that doing a movie like this, you want to make, you want to have a good opening box office, and so on. But the thing is, it's cult. Yeah. The Kick-Ass franchise isn't built on mainstream. It's cult. Right. It's a sleeper hit. You know, but to have a sequel to a sleeper hit, you get. It's very insecure. I'm sure the executives are like, can we get someone else in there just to fluff the pillows and just make sure everything's going to be okay?
Yeah, because if figured if you have a big name attached to this, it's enough of a draw.
And then even his statement helped the movie.
Right, because
overall,
in his way of not promoting the movie, helped to promote the movie in the end. So that was the other, I guess, benefit. It kind of worked out in their favor. And just looking over when you're talking about the box office, this movie came out the day after my birthday, which I didn't get to see until just now. Production.
You went to Disney World.
Yeah, I know, but I could have. Never
mind. You could have watched You could have watched Starship Troopers with the Riff Track people live in the theater, which is what you wanted.
I wanted, but I couldn't do that.
You had family. You had to go to Disney World,
so I had to wait a month or so to watch this movie. So, whatever. So we had a budget of $28 million with Kick-Ass 2, and domestically it did 26, almost 27 million. Foreign at 23, so total worldwide is like 50 million plus.
I don't know if we're going to see this. Based on that, I don't know if we're going to see
Well, I don't think we would get Kick-Ass 3 to begin with.
No, I thought they finished it up pretty nicely.
Yeah,
the only thing is that end shot, just in case.
Yeah. If anything,
we're going to do Iron Man. No.
If anything, like I said, we'll do a Hit Girl story.
But Hit Girl, that's not original anymore. You cannot do that without Kick-Ass showing up. Although that would be an interesting idea.
Kind of like the Batman story you did. And Superman just happens to be along in that movie. But this is now Hit Girl.
It could be like I'm sure if they do that, they'll say someone we can do a Hit Girl series. Well, you sure? Yeah, it might carry.
We'll put it on USA Network.
And then some terrible person will say Catwoman. And then it's over.
La Femme Nikita.
No!
No! Don't do that. Although I do like the actress, and I can't think of her name right now.
La Femme Nikita, the original one, or from the TV show?
The TV show.
I don't know that.
No, but she was in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I can't think of her name. I'm getting fucking old on this.
We're all getting old, sir.
And it's not as if I'm planning on, I'm making sure I'm going to say this name right or that. I'm just doing this off the...
Petra Wilson?
Petra Wilson. I like Petra Wilson. But,
yes, I'm sure your Dreamcatcher likes it too. But anyway...
That's not a Dreamcatcher.
Oh, good God. It's Kleenex! Terrible.
Oh, that sock used to be white. Anywho.
Your kid's going to listen to this someday.
Hopefully I'll be dead.
Daddy, can we listen to... No.
You see, it says explicit... The other one says clean. You can listen to those, just not those that says explicit. Yeah. So aside from that, we I think one of the more effective scenes for Hit Girl, for Mindy, was when she was brought out to this keg party out in the middle of the woods.
Right.
And it was basically set up by the
popular kid.
By
popular girl who shows up at the cheerleading thing and does a better job than she does.
Right.
Cheerleading captain.
So...
Cliche, standard.
No, it is cliche.
But it's been.
What I liked is that you know that she can easily kick the living shit out of this girl. Easily.
Right.
She chooses not to. She just acts like a normal 16-year-old who happens to be in that situation that has just been fucked over by everyone. And she has that whole long walk of shame. And I felt really bad for her. And yet, she chose not to fight.
But she chooses to solve the situation,
right,
as Hit Girl does, based on the advice that Kick-Ass gives her, which is good.
Right. Which I don't want to give her...
Fun scene.
Yeah.
Awkward, but funny.
And she gets all nicely dolled up, for once.
Yes, and I was there like, okay, if there's one time you're going to impress me, this is it. Still underage, but no. All right. 2 years, maybe I can look at that again. I don't know. No, I don't think I'm going to do that.
But you'll still be looking backwards.
Yeah, time, but you know.
So, you said you read the prequel to Kick-Ass.
I did, yes.
And...
it compares pretty... it's a different storyline, because it's a prequel, technically speaking. Right. But different things happen. Same ending, oddly, though. But Marcus's family is endangered in the prequel, and she goes out and does... I thought the film was going to follow that line, but it doesn't.
Okay. Because the problem that I have with a lot of the prequel stories is that you tell a separate story that takes place before events that have nothing to do with the events. It's not as if we're going to see, Red Mist, having issues or having a scene that is going to be played later on. I don't think that was the case.
No.
So that's my problem. Even like with Star Trek Into Darkness, there was a prequel to the movie that had nothing to do except for a vague reference to a Prime Directive issue that sort of comes up into the movie, but it does nothing to enhance the story.
I don't know. I have a problem with prequel comics too. Most of them I've ever read about with mainstream movies have been terrible.
Right.
I don't think the Hit Girl prequel, and this is the Hit Girl prequel, is not the Kick-Ass comic book quite does that. It fits in quite nicely.
Okay.
But it does take the storyline a completely different direction for things that do not happen in the movie. So it doesn't really match up at all. So I think that's okay. So it seems that was like an original work on the side.
Well, if they do it that way, then that's fine.
It stands on its own
right
as a story, yes.
Right. Kind of like a separate, if they were going to do a Hit Girl story afterwards, you can still do that, but just not call it Kick-Ass.
Right. So something confusing, but nah, it's fine. It went well.
Now, you have read the series? The graphic novels?
Didn't you read that too?
No, I started to look through them, and it's completely different from what Mark Millar did.
Just like Wanted is pretty different too. Yeah. Follows the original Kick-Ass story, follows pretty well. His girlfriend is a lot meaner to Kick-Ass in the graphic novel. I mean, a lot meaner to him. When she finds out that he's Kick-Ass.
Right.
She does other sexual things with other people and sends him pictures that upsets him.
Well, that goes without said. Because we see, the same, I guess, being done, but the opposite effect, where his dad takes the blame for Kick-Ass, and... It's
a strong story. It all makes sense. It's all cliche.
Yeah.
But it all fits together really nicely, because if you care about the characters, they can do whatever they want, because you're invested in it.
Right.
You are invested in these characters. You were invested from the first one. Father does things that are kind of strange, but you didn't do anything wrong. You were okay with that. Marcus is okay, because you have these parental figures that they just care. They're just not trying to get in the way, not obstructing, so it's kind of okay. You just go with it.
Right. Which, I was all for the fact that he took the fall for his son as Kick-Ass, but I would have said, like, in interrogating room, how come this doesn't fit you? I was waiting for that scene to happen because I don't think they're the same body size or type. So there was no way that costume would have been... Well, he would have been exonerated, basically.
The way that motherfucker finds out about his identity was, I thought, lame. I thought it was one of the lamest contrivances of the movie.
Right.
That that they tease this one guy, Todd, who cannot think of a good superhero name. They're just joking around.
Right.
But he goes to the other side because of that, because he's hurt. He just remembers something. He says, "Oh, that's his dad." That and from that they know, and then something happens that throws the story over its edge. And the thing is that's interesting to me is that if that hadn't happened, Hit Girl never would have come out because she's attacked.
Right.
It's the rule. Like, if you're a hero, you don't throw the first punch. But if you're a villain and you shoot at me, then I'm going to kick your ass.
Right.
Because she would have remained quiet, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, one of the highlights was, what are you going to do with Hit Girl? Well, you give her a villainous type character to go
that you
up.
built up.
You built up very well, which is Mother Russia. And I kind of like, okay, it's like Rocky, in Rocky 5. Where no.
Dolph Lundgren?
No, you're right.
4.
I keep forgetting how that goes.
Okay.
Where he fights,
Survivor, Eye of the Tiger thing, yes.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren.
I will break you, that whole thing.
If he dies, he dies. I'm like, wow. And there it goes, Apollo Creed, down for the count. Forever. But it was kind of like that, the USA versus Russia, and it was fun. I had one of the best times, looking at that, because no matter what Hit Girl was doing, she was getting her ass handed to her no matter what.
But that was a rehash from the first movie.
I know, but still, 3 years later, I didn't watch the first Kick-Ass, so you're going to have to do stuff that we liked it, so let's do it again in a different order. Kind of like into Star Trek Darkness, where you know how the Enterprise was falling out of the sky and down through the atmosphere. They were firing all jets to kind of get back up, and you thought it just dropped and it was gone forever. But no, they were able to rescue the ship, and it's now floating, hovering in air.
Okay.
I guess you're going to have to rewatch Into Darkness again.
I guess so, yeah. I would have done that today if somebody didn't change their schedule.
Well, I'm sorry, but I had to go to my son's open house today.
Yes, father, yes.
Which we were planning on doing a double feature for...
Paramount, just to give them a few more bucks.
Yeah, like they need any more fucking money. In any case, we were planning to watch... we were planning to watch World War Z and then have that follow up with Into Darkness, but that didn't plan out today.
Okay.
That's alright. But going back to... a thing that I posted on my blog about Into Darkness, not to get off topic, but
no, we should discuss this.
Is that the release of the DVD Blu-ray is that Paramount is planning to put all the extra goodie stuff that we normally buy into different stores. So Target may have something that's different from Best Buy. So a director's commentary is not a given on any of the DVDs unless you know who has it.
I don't believe they can do that. They've done that before with an additional DVD on the side,
which is fine,
right? I've read a little bit about I just can't believe they're doing that.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, you can give me additional added footage. Right. That's fine, but just don't mess with the DVD. The DVDs should all be the same. It doesn't make sense what you're saying, because to do it that way, you have to make different pressings of the DVD.
Right.
And they generally all come out at once.
Exactly.
And then you go to different manufacturing things, and they get wrapped and packaged differently.
Right.
So you can add stuff, but if you're going to take stuff off, that's going to cause such a nightmare.
Right. And it's not as if, if I buy the DVD, it's going to be different from the Blu-ray. Blu-ray holds a lot more content. That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to spend the extra money, I'll buy the Blu-ray. I'm good to go. I don't want to fucking buy the Blu-ray, realizing I'm going to have to buy 2 more other Blu-rays just to get the all bonus content that I want, as opposed to back in the day, between Target and Best Buy, what was the difference between the two? You had price issues, or someone had
an action figure
or some bonus DVD that the other one didn't have. So we would decide who had the better deal, the better product. That's who we go with.
I just really hope you're wrong about this, because if you're right about this, I'm going to be so pissed.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
So, all right.
Sorry.
Any more comments on Kick-Ass? What do you got? Kick-Ass 2, rather.
No,
Ghostbusters 2. No.
Ghostbusters 2. That's not a good sequel. This one, Kick-Ass 2, did kick ass.
It was fun.
I'm actually going to watch it tonight after the original, just because I really enjoyed what I watched on the screen today, and I want to kind of
relive it.
Yeah. That'll kind of...
What's your catchphrase?
Oh, I didn't even see the catchphrase. I completely forgot about it.
You forgot your catchphrase?
No, it's sci-fi from a certain point of view.
Please help us find a new...
Geeky and proud!
Yeah, geeky and proud.
Once a mutant, always a mutant. I don't know.
We'll work on it. Till next time.
No, we're not going to do same bad channel.
I don't know.
We don't have a bad channel. Although, we'll do a sci-fi channel. But we won't call it Scifi. We'll actually call it sci-fi.
Well, it's just, yeah.
We got nothing else. Good night.